Hi YouTube, this is Felicia with Bible Scraps, and how is everyone doing? How are you doing in your neck of the woods? Today and yesterday and the day before, beautiful days, perfect spring weather. I think our rain season is over. We did spike up in the upper 80s, possibly lower 90s about a week ago, but the last several days have truly been spring. Today was nice and breezy, as was yesterday. I took a walk, or the dogs took me out for a walk, and I've just been kind of tired off and on. I've been feeling that way lately. I know what it is. Yeah, I'm deficient in iron. I got my lab results back. And people, when you get your lab results, read them. I got them a week and a half ago and didn't read it thoroughly because I began to feel better. But the last couple of days, I got sluggish again. And so just a couple of hours ago, I grabbed my lab results and actually read it. Okay, so I'm supposed to be taking the iron 3 times a day, not once a day like I was taking, right? Read your lab results. Okay, so that explains why I've been feeling fatigue the last month or so. But anyway, welcome to Light Creating. I have been working with this stamp set off and on for the last couple of weeks. And you know what? I'm probably not going to do a project with it, but I'm going to showcase that stamp set because I absolutely love it. And you know what? It's okay if I don't do a project with it right now. Just to play around with it and have fun. Sometimes that's all it takes. So we're going to do some light crafting with that stamp. And chit chat, of course. Okay, you guys, today I went to my first quilt show ever. I am not a quilter. I'm not a seamstress. Though I have all the machines. As a matter of fact, I just got a brand new sewing machine here. I've done 3 tutorials on my new channel. And now I only got this machine because I absolutely love my tried and true machine that I've had for over a decade. Nothing was wrong with it except the automatic threader didn't work. And truth be told, I don't think I've ever used the automatic threader on that machine. Every couple years, I'll get frustrated and go to YouTube to look up videos on how to use it. And I did that before I purchased this machine because I really didn't want to buy another machine. And I've concluded that my threader, it's broken. And the last time I changed the thread in my other machine, I kid you not, it took me 15 to 20 minutes to put that thread through the needle. It had never taken that long. And when that happened, I said, I am going to invest in another sewing machine. This automatic threader, it works. So it takes the hassle because I have dozens of brand new spools of thread. But because it can be a hassle putting the thread through the needle, I would basically use the same color. So I have a new sewing machine and I do love this one. But I tell you, I did not want to buy one so much. To buy the part to replace the automatic needle, it didn't cost that much. And I was so close to making that purchase, but I couldn't find any videos on how to put the part on. So that was my sign to go ahead and buy a new machine. Okay, so I went to my first quilt show today, and I don't even know how I came across this information for this quilt show. I was online looking up something, and it popped up, and I'm like, that's in my neck of the woods. So it was Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I intended on going every single day, but yesterday and the day before, I was out of town picking up those stamp hutches from Hobby Lobby. I found a third one yesterday. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, check out my video because Hobby Lobby is clearancing out some of their rubber stamp hutches. And I picked up one yesterday in a little city called Mercer. And trying to find a parking place for the estate sale, in that same area was an open flea market. So I totally discovered not just a flea market. Well, that only happens like 3 times a year, I was told. But I found another thrift/antique store, and this one is huge. Well, at the flea market, which was really in the parking lot of the antique/thrift store, I came across a little vendor, and I love vendors, the outside vendors, because you never know what they have. I found some fabric, you guys. Yes, I did. Check this out. Now, the lady told me that this fabric was manufactured in the 70s. They're vintage cars. Buick. Marmon? I can't see that whole word there. Rolls Royce, a Lincoln, a Ford, Humpmobile. So yeah, she said this was from the 70s. I only paid $5 for this, and I have about 4 or 5 yards of this. And then she told me that this print, and I hope you guys can see it, this was made, she believed, in the 60s. Now you can't see this, but it has a beautiful sheen to it. I don't know how to date fabrics. I don't know when anything was made. And I told her, I said, well, this has a pretty sheen to it. Did they have fabrics back then this pretty? And she said, yeah. But isn't this pattern gorgeous? It looks like an ethnic pattern. Maybe Native Indian? I don't know, but it's so super gorgeous. So I paid $5 for this, and then I paid $1 for this fabric. Now, she said that she thought this was also 70s. And I said, well, it can't be because it has foiling on it. And she said, oh no, they produced foiling on fabrics back then. And she showed me a couple dresses that had the foil accent on it. I didn't know they produced foiled fabrics way back then. But this one is really pretty because, well, they're all pretty. But look at you guys. The teapot. I don't know what this is. It's a drink on a little box, a plate. I don't know what this is. Is that a bread box? But it's kitchen themed, and I love the colors, the blue, and then that background of foil, really pretty. Okay, if you don't know, I started a new channel called Journal Scraps, and I kicked off my heat machine series on that channel. I did share 2 videos on this channel, but it has nothing to do with the tutorials on my other channel. I did some mixed media play with the laminator on this channel. But if you're interested in what I call collaging with heat to make, and I call this a fatsie. No, this is a sack. This one is a fatsie. You guys, I primarily made this with my heat machine, with the laminator, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So on my other channel, I have a tutorial on how you can create something similar. You can click on a thumbnail at the end of this video or a link. So I don't normally travel a lot by myself out of town. Yesterday, the drive was about an hour one way. And when I went out of town the day before, it was about an hour and a half one way. But let me tell you, I had so much fun. The weather was beautiful. The ride was relaxing. It was a nice getaway. I think I'm going to get away like that more often. My husband did not want me to go alone because I'm so prone to injury. He's like, text me when you get there. Text me when you leave. And he would call to check on me. It was so relaxing. It was so fun. While I was out of town yesterday, I visited thrift stores along the way. And I'm so happy because my local favorite thrift store is a chain. And I was able to visit that store out of town. Which, let me go ahead and show you what I found. some items that I found. Okay, so I love to collect the sewing patterns, the vintage ones. I look for certain decades. I like the pictures. And I also collect those with African Americans on it. And I looked out and found, okay, I do not find African American men often. So when I saw this one, and he has a little afro, you knew I couldn't pass it up. I mean, all of these guys, I love the style of the clothes. So I got that one. And then I found this one. I mainly go for the ones that are older. I don't care for the newer ones because I like the look. Like, it's not cartoonish. It looks illustrated, and I like that look. And then I found, okay, I thought twice about getting this one, but I'm happy I got it. It's of Diana Ross. Because she's not illustrated. These models are, but I don't care for the color pictures, but I'm so happy I picked it up. These were 50 cents. They were marked $1, and I told the cashier, I'm like, now wait a minute, in my hometown, they're only a quarter. You guys are like an hour, not even a total hour away. How come yours, they're $1? Well, then he talked to someone, and I got these for 50 cents. Yeah, so I'm happy. She's an icon. This is vintage. It's a gorgeous picture. But yeah, I had to think twice about getting that. And then I found, now, the little boy, look at him in that afro. Well, that's not really, is that an afro? Afros are bigger. My brothers, they wore their hair like that when they were younger. I don't think that qualifies as an afro, but I still like the style of the hair. I love it. And then I got this one. This was $1.50. And so this is probably older than the ones I shared. And I like that she's facing this direction. I wish, well, like he's backwards. I like the different angles. You could do a lot when you have these figures looking, you know, different directions. Okay, and this was one of my fave. Look at that hair. And I love this hair too. This looks so 70s. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. And then when I found this one, the same girl, I was like, yes, yes. I love it. Alrighty, I did pick up more. And then a couple weeks ago, oh my goodness, I found a boatload of sewing patterns from a thrift store I shared in a video 2 or 3 months ago. I went back and yeah, this thrift store, whoever donate, well, Simstress must donate to this thrift store because they had a galore. I mean, they had more than the first time I went. It took forever to look through all of those sewing patterns. Alrighty, now you guys, okay, so as I mentioned earlier, I picked up a third stamp hutch from a second Hobby Lobby. What was so cool about this particular stamp hutch? Well, number one, it was darker than the two I found. And they're all pretty, but I'm not going to paint the darker one. But, okay, the Velcro was still attached to every shelf in the back. And what was still attached were the actual cards that represented the stamps in that particular area. So I should take a picture and insert it right now in case you guys, if you don't know what I'm talking about. What was so cool, my hutch was filled with the original cards that you see. But there was another hutch that I had the option to get, but I opted not to. I snatched off a couple of those cards. You see the Velcro? And then I got in a car to take off. And then I turned around and decided I would go ask an employee if I could just have the cards on that other hutch. and I was told I could have them. So I have a whole bag filled with these. They feel laminated. These stamped out laminated cards. And this is Tim Holtz. I picked up this particular stamp when it was on clearance, 75% off. I love these. Of course, you could use them in all your paper crafting. So fun, right? So I'm thinking these are all the stamps that were clearanced out that Hobby Lobby will not get back. And you guys, if you could pick up the Hutch, get it. It's like hitting craft lottery. There's only 3 to 4 available per store. A lot of stores may be sold out, but there's a lot of stores that still have them. Like this Merced store that had the 3, and I asked the store employee, well, how long have you guys had them out? She said for a while, no one bought them, so the store employees thought about buying them. You never know. Call the stores. You need to get one of those because it's like having a piece of history right in your home. And that's how I feel. I have 3 pieces of Hobby Lobby in my home. So I'm going to love these, putting these to good use. Look at this one. Our Father who art in heaven. With the Velcro on the back. Yes, I will incorporate these in my junk journals. So do you guys know what I've been doing lately? I have been creating, by the way, a lot. I have about 12 videos in this series. They're all uploaded, but they're not all published. So I've been working on these. I've been also doing sewing machine tutorials, which I'm happy I'm doing that because it forces me to get to know my sewing machine the last couple months. Well, I've been reading again, number one, just books in general, but I have been reading children's books. Okay, so I've been into sewing, or I shall say fabrics lately. I've been watching a lot of fabric videos, quilting videos, I mean. I came across this it was a storybook on the grandmother teaching the granddaughter how to make a quilt. So I actually read that book. I think I read another children's book, but I've also been listening to the vocal presentations, the vocal storytelling on YouTube. And I can listen to that all day. I haven't listened to one in the last week, but when I'm in my craft room, just relaxing and doing this and doing that, I'll put on a channel and listen to those books. And the kids' books, they're really informational. They're educational. I tell you, I've had so much fun. It's so entertaining to listen to a vocal narration of a storybook. Okay, at a thrift store, actually the same thrift store I found these sewing patterns at, I also found these buttons. And I don't know what these buttons are called. I found these in different sizes. Oops. And the bag said $2.50, and I found 3 bags, different sizes. But when I paid for my order, my whole order came to $12. And I had a lot more than this. So obviously, I got some type of discount. Okay, so I have these buttons. They feel plastic. They have a matte sheen. And I know they're buttons because look at the back. You see the shank. Now, these are cool. I took one yesterday and I used my alcohol marker and I colored the button. If you guys know, if you have any information about these buttons, please let me know. I'm not sure how old they are, but the alcohol markers work well with these. Kappa, cut it out. You guys, my dogs are in here. You hear one chewing on a bone right now. So I have my 2 big dogs in here and then the little chihuahua. But it dries really nice. I love the look. And look at that. Really pretty. It almost looks marbling. Do you guys, is that a good angle? So yeah, each bag was $2.50, but I kid you not, everything was 12 bucks, and I picked up a lot of fabric. I haven't showed you guys that fabric yet, so I saved at least $7.50 on this order. Mysteriously, I don't know what happened. And this is the smaller size. Yeah, so cool. And I love it that these are clear. And then this is the medium size. Love these. At the same store, I found, no, a different store. Same chain, just a different store. I found this bundle of fabric for $1. The black is what attracted me. This is pretty. Roses with that black background. And then I can, well, I get rid of a lot of my fabric when I find it in bundles like this. I've gotten rid of a lot. So I'll probably get rid of most of this. I do have enough fabric to play around with, experiment sewing. You guys, I endeavor to make a little quilt this year. Nothing extravagant, just a quilt that I can throw on a chair, something that's meaningful to me. I do endeavor to make my version of a story quilt using my sacks and fatsies. So I hope to have that done this year. And you guys, I finally taught my first class at Hobby Lobby this week, a card class. I was set up to teach last year, but as many of you know, I suffered injuries. I separated my shoulder and then I broke my ankle a month later. So I'm feeling better and taught my first class, and it was so fun. And we made this beautiful card using this beautiful stamp set, which I have named the most beautiful stamp set ever. It's the Embroidered Rose collection, and you can pick this up from my shopping page with Fun Stamper's Journey. And we got our retirement list about a week ago. I'm still in disbelief that this beautiful stamp set is being retired. I cannot believe it. Pretty much the whole collection, the whole embroidered collection is retiring. I don't know why. This really is the most beautiful stamp set ever. If you love flowers, if you love roses, this is a must-have stamp. In all my years of crafting, in all my years of collecting stamps, whether it be clear, which I don't really buy anymore, but red rubber on wood, unmounted, I have never come across, even close, a stamp that has this type of detail. You don't have to like flowers to need this stamp set. Gorgeous. So we made this card. For my next class, we will make shakers. Okay, so at the quilt fair, once I walked in, okay, I was excited the last couple weeks anticipating the whole quilt fair because I had never been to one before. And I intended to go Thursday, Friday, and today. That's how excited I was. I wanted to go all 3 days, not necessarily to shop, but to see the quilts on exhibit, to feel the fabrics, just to be in that whole atmosphere. And I kid you not, I got there within 5 minutes, I was ready to leave. Not because it was boring. I think the last 2 days, the hunt for those stamp hutches, and then, of course, going out of town and visiting different thrift stores, perhaps that fed a need I didn't know I had. But I stayed about an hour and a half and saw the most prettiest fabrics. But you know what? Those fabrics at the quilt fairs, they're expensive. But I did leave with several prints. let me show you what I got. The first one, after I figured out how to shop at the different vendors, because there's a lot of quilts that are displayed, but there's a lot of fabric that's also displayed, but not all the fabric. They might have several prints that represent a collection. Once I figured that out, and you guys, I'm so happy about this because I felt overwhelmed with all the fabric there. I wasn't looking for anything to buy, but it was overwhelming. I didn't know where to start. When I realized what if I wanted to look for fabric, when I narrowed it down to the types I like, that made it so much easier for me. And then I only left the quilt shop with $35 spent in fabrics. Now, I did purchase a non-fabric item. I'll show that to you. But let me show you what I'm talking about. What I like in fabrics. Okay, I buy most of my fabrics from the thrift store. I rarely buy from a craft store. I like the old stuff. I like the thrifted stuff. But I realize I gravitate towards fabrics that have images that can be cut out and used in crafting. I love a typewriter. So when I saw this and the images can be die cut out because it's repeat pattern and it's not so busy, I knew I had to have it. Isn't this cute? You guys, look. There's even typing paper in the typewriter. Sometimes all you have to do is sit at the typewriter and bleed. And they say different things. What feels like the end is often the beginning. Typewriters come in different colors. Write what should not be forgotten. I love this. And I have two ideas on how I can use this. So I paid $12.49 a yard for this. But that's so pretty. That was so worth it. And then I found this one. I can also cut this one down. And I love the phrases. Let's stay home and cuddle. Fall in love with as many things as possible. Be happy, be bright, be you. One small positive thought in the morning can change your whole day. Oh, I hadn't read that one. That's so true. So I love these phrases and I love the colors and I love the background. I think this one came in two different colors. I chose this darker color. So pretty. So that's a half a yard. Now, you guys, I don't know why I'm gravitating towards this certain thing. But look, I'm not trying to figure it out. Look at this other one I got. Look at these skeletons. You guys, I do not do Halloween. I do not do skeletons and skulls and blood and rats and graveyards and all that stuff. But for the last month or so, I have gravitated towards... Oh my goodness. I'm kind of embarrassed to say it. Well, okay, it started when the last 24-hour craft fair on HSN. Before that, Spectrum Crafter's Companion, they had a die stamp combo of a skeleton head. And for some reason, well, it had been there for months. And because I'm not into it, I never purchased it. But check it out. It was only like 12 bucks shipped. And this was a huge stamp, like cover your whole hand with the matching die. But the more I looked at it, I thought, you know what? I should probably buy it only because it's so cheap. And that price included shipping, you guys. So when we had the last craft fair, it sold out before I bought it. And I regretted that. Ever since then, I've gravitated towards certain looks. I think this represents the Day of the Dead in Mexican culture. But for some reason, oh, and then Tuesday morning, they have Tim Holtz. There's 2 skull dies there. I thought about getting those. His kind of look more scarier though. But these are the cutest. Take a look at them. This one is cooking, boxing. This one has the rope. It's so cute. So I got a whole yard of this. And of course, I can cut out the squares, right? So I love it. It's repeat pattern. Totally love. Oh, look at the bride and the baker and the gardener and the musician. There's a lot of different prints, you guys. A lot of designs. So cool. I'm going to share some fabric I picked up at the same thrift store that had those sewing patterns and buttons. They also had a lot of this rolled up fabric. And there were 2 panels for $1.25. I don't know different fabrics, like what this type is. It might be upholstery. I don't know. It's not thick, but it's thicker than your muslin, your cotton fabric. But yeah, 2 panels for $1.25. I'm thinking these fabrics were what customers looked at to select their fabric of choice. So I think I got about 20 of these, maybe 25 of them. And I love the prints. Look at that. So perhaps, yeah, you would use this fabric to make, put on couches, put on chairs, I don't know, curtains, different textures. Love it. This looks like a rug. Really get creative with these. So I'm not going to share all of them. As a matter of fact, I've already put it away. I had to grab these to show you guys. But look at it. It has that old look. Oh, I just love them. So I looked out. A lot of other ones left, but those were 50 cents. So I think different people priced these because they were similar to these, just different prints. Okay, and then I found this fabric, which the date is on it, 1978. I love it because if I want, I can cut out these prints. These are potted flowers. And I paid $1 for these, or this panel. And then there were 2 pieces that was cut already. So look at that. I like it. Love it, love it, love it. Alrighty. The only other thing I purchased from the quilt fair that has nothing to do with quilting. Well, I shouldn't say that because you could put your fabric in it. There was a vendor from Ghana, and she had these beautiful baskets, different sizes, different shapes. And I fell absolutely in love with this one. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Made with excellent craftsmanship. Very sturdy. And you know, these type of baskets, they can hold some heavy stuff. Back in Ghana, well, in Africa, throughout Africa, and I'm sure other countries too, they make baskets like this. And these baskets, I mean, they can endure a lot of wear and tear. They last forever. And this one is just so, I love it, love it, love it. I have her information. I'm going to contact her because I want a custom basket made. Yeah, I know exactly how I want to use it. Isn't this gorgeous? It's a nice size, you guys. And this is how the bottom looks. So for this bag, I think the regular price was like $65. And I think that's underpriced. For this handmade basket, yeah, that's underpriced. I think I got it for $55. Isn't that beautiful? And the colors are just gorgeous. I'm going to do some rubber stamp play. But you know, I am tired. Boy, I tell you, when your body lacks, when your body is deficient, in a certain vitamin, you feel it. And low iron, being anemic, is nothing to play around with. Um, I was in denial at first, but after about a week of feeling sluggish and just always tired, I'm like, I gotta get my blood work done. Something is not right. Because I would get up, do things, run errands, and then afterwards have to lay down. And even when I didn't go anywhere, I have a upstairs, and you know that can be work going back and forth. And I thought, well, maybe it's that I'm just up and down the stairs too much. But I knew something was wrong. You guys, get your blood work checked. I thought it was my thyroid at first. I just knew something was off. And you get your blood work. Don't do like I did and not read it fully, because I'm supposed to take it once again 3 times a day, and I was taking it just once a day. So I will not be playing around with that rubber stamp set. I'm going to go upstairs and lay down. But at that new thrift store / antique store close to the estate sale, I found this cool, and they had a lot of these pads, Adams Dentine chewing gum. And I like these graph sheets. I love the color of it. You could tell it's aged. Oh, I didn't realize it had different colors. Look at that. Purple and blue and red and what else? Oh, this is so cool. So I picked up 2 packs of these. And then I saw this. Okay. This Somerset Studio coloring book. And I think this looks like, what year is this? I don't remember this in the stores. Adult coloring is, I think, fairly new. But for some reason, I thought this looked like it was older. I need to look for a date. But yeah, it's a coloring book, and I paid like $1.25 for this. And then I found, this is so cute. I paid a couple bucks for this, you guys. It's a baby album. Look at that baby, such a doll. And this looks old, right? Look at the guy, his face, Dr. Defoe. But take a look at this beautiful book. Would there be a year in this book? Oh, somebody used it. Oh, look at that. Somebody wrote 1957. So you know this goes back. And look at the pictures of these adorable babies. Oh, look at. Oh, wow. I paid no more than $3 for this because I got this and these pads at the same store. And I paid $5 for all of it. Okay. I'm going to share. I got a special find I'm going to share last. So I have one find before my special find. Now, you guys, when I arrived to this estate sale, number one, it was like outside. It was not in front of a house. It was like, I'm not sure what was going on at this business, but it was like, imagine a U-Haul parking lot. That's what it reminded me of. Now, it said estate sale, but when I walked through the gates, it looked like an estate sale, but for Sanford and Sons. Let me tell you, it was a heap and a pile of spreaded junk. That's what it looked like. If these things came out of somebody's house, it looked like junk, you guys. But, you know, in the midst of junk, there's always treasures. I found a whole box. I don't even know how I gravitated towards this because it was, you know what? I took a picture. If I don't forget, I'm going to insert a picture. I mean, a lot of the stuff you couldn't even get to unless you flew over it. You couldn't walk. You had to fly over it. I don't even know how I found this, But you guys, it's a box of letters, right? And I got these box of letters, vintage letters, for $20. And the dates, okay, this one is dated 1961. And I haven't even looked through most of this. I just grabbed a couple in the front, which is now the back. So I do know some of these letters are from the 50s. That's 59. And like the early 50s. Yeah, but these are letters. And you know what? I love to read. I'm nosy. Other people's life, what was going on. And I read one of the letters, not in its entirety. But, you know, let's just pull one out. And this one, I don't think this one is open. The letter was written from a daughter to her mother. Well, the mother had purchased an anniversary gift for her daughter. The daughter thanked the mother, but then she returned it because she says that's not, you know, that's the husband's job to buy the gift. I guess the husband failed to get the gift and the mom wanted to make up for it. It was cute. But, yeah, this one is typed out. Some are handwritten, some are typed, and some are typed on different types of paper. But this is so cool. How I wish I had the actual, you know, something from my parents, from my grandmother. And who knows, my grandmother, no telling what she has at her house. But I would love to find personal letters and things like that from my family members. But I'm going to enjoy sifting through all of these letters. And I found something, a letter from or to a doctor. And it explained how much money had been made for the stocks that were purchased. So it's just cool. This one is from 1960. So yeah, I'm going to have fun. And to me, it was so worth it. 20 bucks for this whole box. Okay, my last items, you guys. I went to the Hobby Lobby to pick up my first 2 stamp hutches in Los Banos. I stopped at a thrift store there. In Los Banos, basically everything is on one street. And when I saw this item, it was a blessing. I had not seen one of these since middle school, high school. And anything that can trigger a memory, a childhood memory, I am most thankful. Speaking of childhood memories, you guys, the last month, I have had more childhood memories in the last month than I have ever had. I don't recall much about childhood. My memory is overall just bad. But my memory, it's been triggered. It's true that a smell, something you see can trigger a memory. I was in my backyard a couple weeks ago and I smelled fish out the blue. And then I remembered that my grandparents would take us fishing when we were younger. And then I had a flashback of being in my grandmother's den. And I can see the wall right now. It was a wall that had a lot of fishing poles on it. And I would play with those fishing poles. So when I smelled that fish in my backyard, it was like fish in a lake. I don't know where that smell came from, but it took me back to that memory. And of course, I had to write it down. But yeah, we used to go fishing. That's important to know because when I'm creating and I come across a fishing pole or fishing, I can record that. So I'm so grateful. I've been having these random memories just out the blue. So when I saw this, do you guys remember the peachy folder? Oh my goodness. Do you guys remember this folder? This is all we basically used in high school, in middle school, probably primary school. I found a whole pack of these. There was a lot of different folders, and I only kept the peachy folders. And I think I have about 6 of these, and I got them all for $1. My goodness. Some of you guys might still have your original folders. Oh, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And then when I got home and looked through those folders, I didn't realize I had this one. No, I don't recall this folder growing up, but do you guys remember Miller's Outpost? I remember Miller's Outpost. And that's why I love this one. Today I had an appointment downtown, and we grew up pretty much always downtown. We would catch the bus and all the time catch bus 34 that took us right downtown. Did all of our shopping downtown. We ate downtown. A lot of beautiful memories were made downtown. And I had an appointment downtown today, and when I got there, I was so confused. Confused because it's called the mall, but it's no longer a mall. It's now a street. Our city, and I didn't even know this had happened, our city put a street right in middle of our downtown mall. So now it looks more like downtowns of other cities. But what's great about it, well, it looks better. And then because it's a street now in the middle of what was a mall, there's parking. We had Woolworth and Newberry's and Payless, which Payless is gone now. That was downtown. We had Julius. I think that was a hamburger place. And a lot of beautiful memories. No, Miller's Outpost was not downtown. But since I'm reminiscing and I was downtown today, it was beautiful to be downtown again. A place where my mom always took us, bless her heart. She's been gone for a long time. But anyway, I'm grateful for all of my rescued memories. And if you guys have this folder, if you remember the folder, leave me a comment. If you still have your peachy folders, leave a comment. I absolutely love. I think I'm going to leave this one just out on display. I don't have any specific memories, but who knows? Maybe I'll have a random rescued memory just because I have found this folder. And up until I saw it, I hadn't remembered the peachy folder. I probably would not have ever remembered this folder if I did not see it. Wow. I will definitely incorporate elements of the peachy folder in a journal. Well, you guys, that wraps it up for me. I have a lot more to share, but this is enough, right? Okay, I want to thank you all for bearing with me and joining me for another segment of Chat, Create, and Craft with me. May you all have a blessed week. As always, blessings.